Hi, so we're going to talk about finding the nth character in a string. So let's try create a variable. So we'll say let, and we'll just say the first name of the person would be Charles, something like this, Charles. So now we need to find the first character in this name. We're going to do this and say first name, and we'll use the bracket, the square bracket, and we're going to put 0. So 0 represents the first character in JavaScript. So in this case, we're going to expect an output of capital letter C. So let's try that out. Put it directly in the console. So console log and that. So let's save. And what do we have here? C. So we can see that the first name, Charles, will have the first character as C. So let's just put that in another variable. So let the first letter of the word Charles would be this, and we can now take this and put it in here, first letter, so C. So we need to let's try getting the second letter, which we expect to be H. So we're going to create another variable, and this time we'll say second letter, and it's 1. So the second letter is going to be H, because we're starting from the first 0, then the next will be 1, next after that will be 2, next will be 3. So in this case, the second letter would be index of 1 in this case. So the first name, index of 1. And if we now output that, so put that here, save. Now we have H. So let's try doing that for the last letter. So say let last letter be equals to, and what do we think would be that of the last letter? Now we don't know the number of strings in this string first name, so we need to find out. And how do we do that? In our previous video we said is the variable, and we use .length to find the number of strings. So in this case we're going to have first name like that, .length would be that. So now what this is going to do is going to count the number of characters we have, and in this case we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. And remember that the index always starts from 0, so the first character is 0. So if we leave it this way, what we're telling it to do is to go into the variable first name and look for the 7th index. And remember, when we were putting in this index, we said the first one is 0, second is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't have a 7th character. So let's try that and see whether it will give us an error, or you see what it will say now. So we're telling it find now index 7 in the first name, not the 7th character. 7th character is S because we're starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But when we're dealing with index, the first index is 0, not 1. So we'll say look for the 7th index, and we know it ends at 6 index 6. So let's run this and save. And now see what it says, undefined. Why? Because we've gone through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 index, and looking for the 7th one, there is none. So instead, what we do instead is we just say -1. Why? Because we kind of like setting it one character backwards, since it's starting from 0 here. So this will now say look for the 6th index, which we know is the 7th character. So we'll save that and now see what it says, S. So now it's correct. So what if we want to find the second to the last letter? So second to the last letter that way. Second, or you can just say second to last letter that way. So what do we do instead? In this case, let me just copy this. So what do we do? Now we know that the last index is always going to be the first name length minus 1. That's what it is, because the first name length in this case is 7, and since it's set back by 1 character when we're using the index, when you come to the end you set it back by 1 character, so 7 minus 1, and that will be 6. So that's exactly what we did here. All we need to do is simply change this to 2. So it's going to take this as first length minus 1 and the next one as first length minus 2. So we'll put that here, in here, and save. And what do we have? E. So that's how to find out the nth character of a string. So let's hide this and let's do the task. So the first task says let last name be Lovelace and use bracket notation to find the first character in the last name variable and assign it to first letter of last name. So we just take this first and say let last name be Lovelace, and then we're going to now create the new variable let first letter of last name, and we know what that is. It's going to be the last name and square bracket because we're looking for the index, and 0. The first letter is 0 index, and we're going to console log that first character of last name. And what do we have? L. So that's the first character of the last name. So that's done. So next, let's do that of the second one. It says let last name be Lovelace. Let's try to set third letter of last name to equal the third letter of the last name variable using bracket notation. So let's just copy that one out. So now we need to set this. So we're going to create that variable third letter of last name, and it's just the same thing. It will equal the third letter of the last name. That's the index. So take that last name and we'll do that. And what index is that going to be? So definitely we know that since it starts from 0, we'll have 0, 1, and 2. So it's going to be 2. And let's log that out. So console log third letter of last name, save. And now we have V. Next we need to do that of task 3. It says let last name Lovelace. It says use bracket notation to find the last character in the last name variable. So I'm going to copy that again, and we need to find the last character in the last name. So we already know how to do that, and we need to include the last name. And what index are we going to use now? Remember, we need to find the length of the last name, then we subtract 1 because we need to set it back by 1 since the index always starts with 0 instead of 1. So we'll just take the last name dot length minus 1. So that's the last position, and we will now console log that, log it out, save. And now we have E, which is here, E. So that's the last character in last name. So let's do the fourth task. It says use last name Lovelace. Okay, fine, let's copy that. Then it says use bracket notation to find the second to last character in the last name string. So it's the same thing. We'll just say second, and maybe we'll just add of last name, something like that. Second to last letter of last name. That's fine. Then we'll just take this last name, and remember we need to find the index, and second to last letter is going to be C. Just looking at it, but let's do that here. So say the last name, and we need to find the length, right? Then instead of -1, which is the last letter, we were looking at the second to the last, so that will be -2. And then we console log that, and now we have C. So Lovelace, and C is the second to the last name, last character. So that's simply how to find out the nth character of a string.